Spiritually Inspired is a sacred space for all people to explore issues of shared concern. Listen to consciously aligned guests and search for spiritual inspiration. Podcast hosts Renee Siri and Jason Barniski, yoga teachers and authors, explore and find inspiration on the path to enlightenment.
Hi, welcome to our podcast, Spiritually Inspired. This is Rani Siri.
And this is Jason Barniski. So today we're very excited. We're interviewing a real modern mystic. Indy Rishi Singh is a laughter scientist, a teacher at Yoga for Change, and he's working on developing an interactive astrology virtual reality game. So thank you very much, Indy, for being with us.
Thank you, guys. I feel honored to be a part of your circle. Right here, literally sitting at a circle with a doggy as a part of it is pretty amazing right now.
In the meditation room.
Yeah.
Sacred space.
Such a sacred space. And we got a guardian here. Yeah, how cool is that? And you guys are guardians of awesome knowledge. So thank you for having me here to share some more knowledge.
Thank you. So I love that, the fact that you kind of introduced yourself as a modern mystic. And maybe we'll just dive right in. And maybe we can talk about that a little bit. What is a modern mystic?
Modern mystic?
Wow. What is the mystic to start with?
What are mystics? Mystics are interesting, right? From where you're from in the world, right? Mystics have a certain je ne sais quoi, right? Then there's like European versions and Western versions of mystics, right? And there's so many, and all our films and mythology, a lot of the movies we like have to do with mystics, we love that.
The people with magic.
Yeah, they're cool. Harry Potter, right? All that stuff. Yeah. So mystics, for me, when I come to understanding, I think mystics are those who live so much in the present. They're living in such awareness of the present moment that they are able to transcend situations. Circumstances that would seem incredibly detrimental to most are beneficial or maybe even nurturing to the mystic. And so the mystic even takes suffering sometimes, and suffering turns into artwork or magic. It turns to love. It turns to inspiration. And so mystics are able to do that with ease. And I think now, as a modern mystic, I feel almost like there's a technology aspect to it. It's important to take technology and be able to convert it into something that is beneficial for all, rather than being controlled by it. And I feel connected to that aspect of mysticism.
I like that a lot. And we were kind of talking a little bit how now in the internet age, that there aren't as many secrets and these esoteric things, like if this wise old guru told you, this is the mantra, don't look it up. You could go and Google the mantra and in 5 seconds find the meaning.
Everybody, I want you to focus. Focus. Now you pay $9.99 a month, okay? Now you know the knowledge. If you don't pay, you don't know, okay? You cannot go to enlightenment. $4.99 you get discount enlightenment. No problem.
That's awesome.
But that's true. Thank you for bringing that up, because I think for me too, it's important to have integrity for information and knowledge, right? I feel I can't ever share anything with anybody else unless I practiced it. It doesn't make sense, in my mind, it doesn't make sense for me to ever recommend to anything to anyone and not have tried it and know what it does to myself, right? And with that being said, I think a lot of the stuff that gets shared out there, it actually gets, I feel like it's diluted. And not even diluted, maybe it loses its magic, mysticism, when it becomes about, look at me, or look at what I can tell you, or pay me, or give me this, and then I'll give you this, It actually takes away from the being present moment. The whole mystical aspect of being present. You can't be present if you're worried about having some exchange, or there's expectation. That's not how magic works, at least to me.
And that's also where judgment comes from, is expectation. Yeah. When you expect something, then that's the seed for judgment.
Yeah. It doesn't come from the heart, so it's not very genuine.
Yeah. Have you heard about people having, these days I've been getting messages from people more and more going like, oh, I'm getting Kundalini awakening, but it hurts, and I had a painful moment, all this stuff. And I also have seen that in books, and people teaching that in books and in whatever. But my teachers have never taught me that. It's, it's never been, oh, you're going to be in pain to get somewhere. If it does happen, it happens because it's my own volition. I'm going through it. But I feel like these days people are getting, there's a little bit of a little bit of programming happening that you have to go through pain to reach enlightenment.
And I think the difference, it's a very subtle difference, is there's on one hand there's pain, on the other hand there's discomfort. So to get into a deep yoga pose, you don't want the pain of a tearing ligament, but you might want the discomfort of mini micro tears in the muscle to grow. And Ronnie and I met you during a laughter yoga class. And quite funny, but you taught very much by your own practice. And you laughed and you told us what you were thinking of and what you did. And there was a little bit of discomfort in us getting out of the societal accepted norms.
We were we just keep laughing for half an hour.
Maybe more like an hour, yeah.
We're sweating.
We're circling up, 20 of us or something, and we just laugh for an hour. That was a little bit uncomfortable, right?
It was.
But after that, we feel like there's a growth, right?
So that's exactly what I'm saying. Is there's growth comes from discomfort, maybe not from pain, but there's a very, very thin red line between pain and discomfort, and you have to be very, very discerning and very conscious to recognize when you're going to cross that line.
Yeah, that's where knowledge, that's where we know there has to be the purveyors of knowledge, right? There has to be the librarians, there has to be the teachers, there's actually what I'm realizing more and more, it's all about archetypes. It's all about playing roles and knowing our roles in different relationships and interactions and teamwork, right? It makes a big difference whether you're in a relationship or you're working on bigger projects, you're traveling around the world or whatever you're doing. There's archetypes, right? And I think what happens is a lot of this knowledge is being all over the place. It's all this so much knowledge now is available for all of us. But then where are the people going who are filters for that knowledge and having integrity for filtering it? That's kind of what shamans are supposed to be about, right?
Right.
The whole shaman idea is to be a filter between the unknown and the known.
Yeah.
And I think really the modern shaman, or again, the modern mystic, is a new breed of archetype, because this ancient yogi in the cave didn't have an iPhone, and he didn't have the apps, and he didn't have Google right so quickly. So the modern mystic, like you said, is a beautiful blend of the ancient and the scientific.
Okay, one moment. I'm getting a Tinder right now. Hold on 1 second. I need to go to my Tinder first, Dad. Can she come here? Is it okay?
We went to the Thai temple in Escondido a couple weeks ago. And I told Ronnie, I said, are monks allowed to have cell phones? And she said, why can't a monk have a cell phone?
Well, if the Jesus is here in this time right now, Jesus will be getting on social media.
Hell
too.
yeah. Even Twitter,
to spread his message. Yeah, why not?
Hashtag Jesus Christ.
But you have to use social media with discernment, right? Use it in the right way. Not to spread the bad messages and distracting people and using it for commercialize and for their own benefits.
Yeah.
It's beautiful what Andrew Seeley told us, because my question to him was, how do you stay humble in using this and using the social media? And he's very big on a social media presence. And he came and he said, I just want to share the love. Most people get on there to receive, to get likes, to get recognition. But when I just go on there, he said, I just want to share the love. And it totally created a paradigm shift in me that said, wow, this wonderful technology can help us share the love. It can help us inspire people more. So the intention is huge in the way that we want to show up in the world.
Well, I want to ask a question. What inspired you to start laughing yoga?
Whoa. Wow. So I actually studied. All right, let's go back. Rewind. Okay. So when I was living in Manhattan, I had the market had crashed. I had moved to New York in 2007. Market crashed in 2008. There was a couple of years of really tough years, really tough years that I struggled, and I fought really hard to not move back to California, to not go back to living the 2.5 cars, 2.2 children, kind of thing. That was it was about to happen, And I was like, I gotta stay in here. I gotta tough this out. And while I was toughing it out, in some of my most toughest moments, I found a ad in Time Out magazine, and I went followed this up, and I went to this chiropractor's office in Manhattan. Really amazing chiropractor. I went down to the basement. It was really weird. I went down to the basement, and in the basement he had an office, and he had this section going on, and there was there's probably 10 people in there. 8 of them were old. One person was kind of my age, and it was me, and then the doctor, the chiropractic doctor, and we did this laughter class, and it was awesome. I felt so good. And that day I was feeling like crap. I was thinking about, oh man, I need to drink tonight. I was I couldn't explain how I felt. It was not fun, right? And I had been meditating at that point in my life, but still it was not helping. I was really tough times. And so the laughter totally, I walked out of the place, I was high. And I'm like, I never felt this before. This is amazing. So I kept coming back. And eventually, his name is Alex Einhorn. He took me under his wing and he taught me in a way to include science because he's a chiropractor. He's a really successful chiropractor in Manhattan. So he taught me how to use science and talk to people and use relationships to kind of use, to bring laughter in such a way that people can, anybody can receive it and anybody can practice it and they can break down the walls between them and their inner child.
What's the science behind laughing?
Oh my God, there's so much science. I mean, we could like sit here and go over articles and research, and there's research from around the world.
How about the short version?
How about this one? I'll throw a cool, interesting fact out there for you guys. 1 minute of laughter is equivalent to 10 minutes of rowing. You know, rowing?
Is it release like endorphins in your brain or something?
Well, that does that too, but we're talking about cardiovascular exercise.
Oh, just because when you laugh so hard, sometimes it hurts.
Yeah, you're working out your belly. You ever felt your belly when you laugh? But laugh from your go like this. Ho ho ho! Ho 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 ho! You feel it in your belly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's like fire breathing almost, huh?
Actually, a teacher in India told me that laughter is the highest form of pranayama. The highest form of pranayama.
Oh, wow.
So we're all trying to go this, but laughter is the ultimate pranayama. Think about it. Babies laugh naturally. Do we tell babies not to laugh? No. We stop laughing. As we get older, we stop and we age more. We get illnesses more. We have way more proclivity to depression, mental illness from laughing less.
And think about how infectious it is, a baby's laugh. When a baby laughs, the whole room dies in laughter.
Yeah, and that baby's developing its immune system, is developing its cardiovascular, is developing its brain. So you think about it, it's not just
Even
laughing
its
for
connection to others.
It's not even laughing for funniness. It's laughing, connection. It's laughing for some sort of evolutionary purpose. Like there's definitely something going on with laughter and evolution.
One time I went to the event and this author who wrote a book, relationship book, said that when you laugh or when you smile at someone, that person, their brain releases endorphin. That's why when you smile at someone,
oh my God, I just felt it.
It makes them happy.
You just made me release endorphins. Oh my God. Oh my, more, stop. Too much endorphins. I'm too high. I can't do the podcast anymore.
So it's not just you, that the laughter who gets the benefit.
Well, even think about it. If you're walking down a street and somebody looks very upset and you smile at them, it's going to cause a subtle energetic shift, and you can see if that smile is received.
So I'll take it to another level for you guys. Here's another scientific experiment that was done, checking people who had been married for 40, 50 years. And they had them sit in a room, put them on EEGs, checking their brain waves. And then they also had people who had never met each other before, and they had them laugh. So they had the people who had never told strangers laugh, and then they checked their brain waves. And they checked the people who had been together forever, and they just had them conversate and check their brain waves. The people who never met each other before had closer brain waves. Their brain waves were aligned. We're talking about the waves, and the alpha, beta, delta, gamma were more aligned than the people who had married happily for 40, 50 years.
I wonder what would happen if the married people would laugh.
I mean, they'd be easy then, right? But that's a part of them being happy is that they laugh a lot. Right? But they showed that when they're not laughing, the people who don't know each other at all
are even closer.
So that means that laughter literally gets us on the same page. Like when we laugh with people, it literally brainwaves align. So you can actually have better conversations.
Yeah.
So that's why I bring laughter to people. It's not just for fun and yoga. I actually bring it to corporations. I do it with people in impoverished communities. I do it at hospitals. I try to bring laughter. I just do it wherever I travel. I find that's super important because people don't understand that it doesn't matter what kind of conversation you want to have. If you start with laughter or you have laughter in there, it will make the conversation better. Like guarantee, because you'll be connected to the person you're trying to communicate with.
Yeah, you breaks up like these tensions and walls. And it makes people open up more. Yeah, definitely, I agree with that.
Yeah, and so it's funny, but we actually talked about having you on the podcast before we even had done our first podcast. And I told Ronnie, I said, well, maybe we could do a laughter exercise. And then it was, I don't know if that would work. but I love the idea of stepping into the zone of discomfort.
Yeah.
So that we can grow. So and also for our listeners at home, maybe we could do something that we could all participate in. Perhaps they could share later with their family.
Yeah.
Is there one specific and Ronnie's looking at me like you didn't just.
Yeah. Yeah, I got one. Let's do a okay, let's do two. Can we do two?
Okay.
Sure.
All right, since we are international here, all right.
Right.
So let's play around with. Let's all go around and do laughters from around the world. All right, and let's emulate it. All right. So I'm from
Okay.
India, right? So I want you guys to copy me. Okay, ready? So in India we laugh like this. Very good, very good, very very good, very 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 good, very very good.
And you can't see we're shaking our heads side to
So
side.
those of you guys that are listening, make sure you shake your head back and forth while you're laughing.
Bobblehead.
Bobblehead. Very very good, very good, very good. And you can say very good, very good, very good, very good, very good, very good, very good.
Very good.
All right, you got one? Or
That is a fun one. For Thai people, I guess Thai people are very shy sometimes. They like to smile more than they laugh. So when they laugh, they like to close their mouth. Like
so Ronnie's got her hand over her mouth and she's laughing like it reminds me of like animes. What about you?
So I'm American, I guess, born and bred, which is funny enough in itself. But what pops into my head is like the typical overfed American after a huge meal.
Yeah, like you put your
My
hand on your
hands are
belly.
on my stomach and a very deep.
What about this?
The Daffy Duck laugh.
That was a good one. Okay, I think that's enough. I'm like super high already.
that felt really good.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do feel like I did like a really strong Kundalini Kriya.
Totally. We are. Yeah, you guys are actually getting hypnotized right now?
Yeah.
Actually, this is not a podcast. You're actually being hypnotized.
So
I
I encourage everyone at home, the next time they're at a dinner party, if they want to really make things a little awkward and step into a place where they can grow, why not go around a table and do that? 'Cause
Yeah.
everyone in this country is from a different place.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
we're all nobody's from here in this country.
Or you can do it by your family, because every family has a little. If you notice, I've noticed different families have different laughing styles. Like there actually is, like you start to notice family
How does
units.
your family laugh versus your family?
My family, yeah, true. Because I'm bringing my family's little hint of my family into my Indian version of laughter, right? Yeah, interesting.
So, okay, next is we saw your video.
Oh no, not that one. I
India.
hope not that one. Oh, okay, that one. I was like, whoa.
Which one?
Wait, hold on.
Wrong website, wrong website.
Kim Kardashian style right here.
No,
It was a yoga
for,
video.
Yoga for change, and I was super excited at first to see
Yeah,
the
it was
video was
awesome
amazing.
video.
And then our friend Andrew Seeley was on there, who's also been on the podcast, which was wonderful. He talked about that trip.
Yeah.
Because we actually interviewed him right when he got back from India from that trip. And then what a wonderful, not coincidence, but synchronicity to see that you guys were together on that trip. Beautiful. So can you tell us a little bit about what Yoga for Change is about? I know you guys are doing something with Netflix also.
Yeah, man, it's really exciting. I think especially right now as yoga, I think one of the things we always have to be mindful about is the appropriation of knowledge, And I feel like yoga is one of those beautiful things that's, has been around for who knows how long, and it's transmuted and evolved and turned into martial arts and all these different things all over the world. It's so awesome to see how everything has evolved. But one really big thing that we're missing in yoga is this idea of community, citizenship. That's the main thing. There's a big part of yoga that's about being a good citizen. Even in Buddhism, right? It's one of the 8 limbs. It's important to be that optimal human being that you can be for a community, right? And I think that's what this Yoga for Change project really ultimately is about. It's about masterminding around yoga and traveling and inspiring people while we travel and creating content to do that and creating beautiful, amazing. We're actually adding VR this year as well. So we want to create content that actually people can be immersed where we are traveling and even practice with us while we travel. And while we travel, we serve the communities. We actually go and serve orphanages. There's an orphanage in Varanasi that we work with that literally teaches orphans off the street, teaches them Sanskrit, yoga, philosophy, teaches these kids to be little Buddhas, like bodhisattvas. And can you imagine every village, every place around the world had these schools where they take kids in and they teach them to become amazing citizens? They give them all the resources and abilities.
Shoots, we could even use that in the United States.
Foster kids, you know how amazing?
Yeah.
Like, look at how many yogis are here in California. If we all got together and started teaching foster kids, holy cow, these foster kids would become superheroes.
I remember I actually, when I was living in El Centro, I've done martial arts for over a decade, and I taught martial arts, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specifically, and yoga to foster boys and girls in separate classes, and they really got so much out of it. It surprised me because the boys actually got more out of the yoga. They were so calm, and then the women felt super empowered from doing the martial arts. So that was one of the greatest sevas that I look back with such happiness and joy. And also the Boys and Girls Club is a great place that I've taught with, and huge classes, 40, 50 kids at a time. It's wonderful to work with local kids, and I'm just so inspired by seeing Americans going to India and teaching the locals there.
By the way, when you do go to a place, and you know this because you're from Thailand, when you go to any third world country, I'm gonna say nowadays third world with the quotation marks, America feels like a third world country sometimes. But like when you travel to a third world country and they have never seen people like us, like they've never come across, especially people like us that are around this and the people who are listening to this podcast, people who are living beyond the boundaries that have been put in front of us, right? They look at us and they are like sponges. They're like possibility. Like they're like I can't imagine. We cannot quantify it.
Well,
you know,
it's a wonderful analogy because an American now and being so outside of the realm of possibility would be like a guru from India coming in the 60s.
Yes.
So really, this whole paradigm of modern mystic, now the awakened American citizen, really fits that mold beautifully.
Actually, I'm so happy you brought that up because I think it's so important for us to balance this out. Like, you know, the Europeans did a lot of like a conquering. You know, there a lot of imperialism happened all over the world from the European diaspora, right? That whole thing that took over the rest of the world and kind of like absorbed and used up a lot of resources and left a lot of people in poverty. Like the majority of the world is in poverty because of that imperialism. You know, like you can directly correlate it, and still they're holding so much stuff. But now the real valuable is not the gold and the riches they stole, or even the oil, the resources they stole. The real valuable thing is the knowledge. So now if more Europeans and Americans and even us who are like immigrants start going back to countries, you know, going back to India, going back to Thailand, going back to Africa, and spreading the knowledge. We don't need to spread resources. We spread the knowledge. Because now, like you said, we're the modern mystics. We're flipping it back. We don't need the gurus. Now we are the gurus.
It's kind of like you guys take like the ancient knowledge from India, spread it in the West, and actually bring it back. Yeah.
So that's what yoga for change.
Merging.
So that's what yoga for change is. I'll tell you, when we were out there practicing, because we were practicing in we did really epic shots, like because it's being filmed,
it's
right?
beautiful.
So beautiful. And so we climbed, we did hiking, we climbed to the top of mountains. I mean, it was beautiful, right? But we had all these Indian people looking around, and I had them because I speak the language. I speak several languages, so they would come up to me and be like, "What are they doing? Like, what are you guys doing?" And we're like, "We're doing what our ancestors did," you know? Like, that's how disconnected Indians are to their own culture. Like, they didn't even know that this is something that...
Yeah, I've heard a lot from several different people from India that now Indians are starting to practice asana because we do here in the West.
Yes!
Like, what? Huh?
It's crazy.
But I love the idea of what the modern mystic is blending the ancient with the scientific, because yoga in itself, most people don't realize that it's a science, the science of the soul. So some people that really inspire me, like Wim Hof, his beautiful message, all about love and diving deep into yourself. The most important thing and his greatest accomplishment is feeling that he can scientifically, in the laboratory, been able to prove the power of what he's done. And I love that. It's so much. And at the end of the day, after all the scientific learning and all the doctors and scientists have looked and put him up to a heart monitor and monitored his brain and everything like that while he's doing pranayama, at the end of the day, he says, look at your own mother nature and look what feels right in you and follow that. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see that mix.
Yeah, it's really fun actually, and we're at a really fun time where that's becoming more. It's more easier to access it. It's more easier to practice it. And even for me, like I find it very very important for me to have knowledge of the scientific and have background to keep researching, keep looking at what's going on. What is the kind of research? What are the keeping abreast with my friends who are scientists and researchers and doctors, so I can understand to keep merging things as to keep coming up. Because people do need, like, we do need that a little bit. We need a little bit of why. Like, even me, like, when I was little, people told me to do something, I'd be like, why? And, like, people didn't tell me why, and I didn't care about it. Maybe I did it because I had to, because of ritual or culture, but I never really had felt it. And now, when I'm asking why, and I get a little bit of why, I'm going to it head first. And that's, similar thing with yoga and meditation. People need a little bit of why, add a little it kind of gives a little bit of food to the curiosity. You gotta feed the curiosity a little bit,
Absolutely.
But after you get to practice this for a while, you become like, oh, I got it. This is what I need to do. Makes my soul feel so fulfilled. Feel great. I love it. I love meditation and yoga.
Yeah.
And so yoga for change, though, do you just go around and travel around and just teach classes?
I'll give you an example. This May we're doing India, Hawaii in July. October we're doing Egypt, which is amazing. So India, we're gonna start. So we basically hop around. India, we're gonna start in Goa. Go to Mumbai. We're gonna do some stuff with some Bollywood people. I'm trying to teach some meditation and yoga over there, and then we're gonna go to a couple of ashrams and go and help out volunteer where they work with animals and save animals and all kinds of stuff. And then we're gonna go back to Varanasi where this school was and do a couple more Buddhist things where Buddha reached like the tree where he reached enlightenment.
Wow.
And we do beautiful things there. Then in Egypt, we're gonna go to the pyramids and practice yoga and meditation in the pyramids. So we're working with the government. So it's kind of like tourist videos too. Like we're promoting tourism to these places. Egypt, we're gonna be going from north to south Nile, right? And there's gonna be meteor showers. So we're gonna find a place out in the desert. There's like this beautiful place in south of the Nile where you can go out and there's a desert and you can like sit under the stars. And so we're gonna do some meditation with the Perseides meteor showers in October, which are gonna be epic. Can you imagine in the sands, the dunes of Egypt? So really what we want to do, like it's like double an experience. Like not only is it an experience to enhance your travels and your experiences out in the world, but it's also an opportunity to give back. But then also it's an opportunity to share it with the world because it's all being filmed. We document it. We do interviews. We meet masters and teachers while we travel. Teachers who don't have internet websites or Yelp or stuff. We're actually we're digging deep into finding people who have ancient knowledge.
It amazes me that you're able to go back to the birthplace of spirituality, a place like India, and even the locals there are so humble enough that they're willing to learn meditation and yoga from Westerners. That's mind-boggling to me.
So cute. It's actually super cute. Like, it's super cute to see that, the full circle happening. Like, really, like, it's in my lifetime. Like, because it's cool. Because I'm Indian. I disconnected from being Indian when I was younger. I was like, I don't want to be Indian, So I can talk like this.
Yeah, you'd be surprised when I was there. I rarely see Indians, like, practice yoga. I mean, most of the people that do yoga in the yoga studios there in Rishikesh were like Americans or like tourists.
Where if people are interested in finding out more, you guys do retreats and other stuff too. Where can they find that online?
So it's yoga, the number 4 change.co. And then there's also a community on Facebook for it. Or just reach out to me or Andrew. And we're, we need people to reach out immediately because we're getting hit up really fast, especially with Egypt and India. And the thing is, this is also an opportunity to get some marketing and some exposure. Like if you're a teacher, a yoga teacher, or if this past year we had a psychiatrist come, right? So it doesn't matter what your practice is, it's going to be enhanced and you're going to share it with the world. And people want to know that you are enhancing your practice, so it's going to make you look better too to go on something like this. And you get teacher hours, so if people want to add yoga teacher hours and all that jazz. So
and the videos and stuff that we saw, they're on your guys' website also. It's on the
website. And there'll be more. We're going to keep coming out with some, like, we're going to roll out with some more marketing stuff with it. But I think, this is, I'm going to do this my whole life. Like, I'm so happy I'm so happy being a bridge, between people. So
Ronnie and I are going to have to look into a possibility of us going there too. It sounds just like it'd be so much fun.
Heck yeah, it'd be so fun.
Yeah.
Totally.
Amazing. Now, come to a grand question.
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
I got a few more.
Okay.
So you guys are
Go
doing
ahead.
something. You guys are doing something with Netflix with all that too, right?
Yeah, so the idea is a docu-series to be, so we have to make, I forgot how many we have to make before they can package it, but we need to go to several different locations and showcase yoga being a tool for change. In those places. So it's yoga for change. So we need to that is the avenue. So if you do watch the video, and for those who end up watching it and you guys watched it, you can sense that yoga is not just for external, but for internal, so everybody who went on the experience was different when they came
And that's
back.
a documentary.
It's a docu-series.
Oh,
Yes.
it's a series.
Yes.
Wonderful.
I feel that yoga, and somebody said it in the video too, maybe a little bit differently, but my feeling is yoga is the greatest tool for change.
It is.
And they talk about, scientists talk about the universe is constantly expanding. Well, our internal universe is constantly expanding also. You can only go deeper and deeper and deeper in meditation the more you do it. So our internal world is expanding just as much as the universe is expanding simultaneously.
Yeah, it gets us, truly yoga gets us in touch with the contraction and expansion that is always happening anyways. Whether we believe it or not, it's doing it, the wave is doing its thing, so you can jump on the wave. And that's what yoga is,
Jumping on the wave. I love that.
It's expanding your internal and expanding outward to the infinity and just connect to the connected all.
Yeah, most people don't think of expansion as an internal process, but I love your definition of jump onto the wave. That's what yoga is.
Yeah.
That's an epic quote. So before we end, I want to ask you, you're into virtual reality stuff too.
Whoa.
Yeah, whoa! I want to open that book real quickly.
All right, do you want the blue pill or the red pill? Or you want the purple pill? I'll give you the
I'll
purple
take all
one.
three.
You want to take the purple? You gonna take all three at the same time? That's some alchemy
my
right there. Yeah. So virtual reality is really fun, I got into it last year. I met a programmer and became really good friends because, he's been working for years on projects with Disney and different companies. And they noticed that he noticed personally that it was missing mysticism. It was missing the certain a message of unity of fixed, and Avatar hit it really well, like the Airbender. Everybody watched it. That was excellent. So, we connected over that idea that we want to make more stuff like that. He was already working on a project that was with astrology and making astrology a kind of like a personalized experience in virtual reality. When we connected, it was now let's make a story. So now what we're doing is actually creating an interactive virtual reality experience that's for your astrology. So what sign are you?
Cancer.
Sign
Well,
are-
is it Vedic or Western?
Check this out. I'll explain. What's yours?
Sagittarius.
So when you start the game as a Sagittarius or a Cancer, you first put in your date of birth, where you were born, just like you would normally, time, everything, and then you're placed on the Earth, seeing where all the constellations and planets were in when it happened, and learning about that by playing games and learning how to interact in virtual reality. So the games are teaching you about what a Sagittarius is about, what a Cancer, like you personally, and then that's just training. When you get the training down, then you start to go to ancient civilizations and ask your character. So as a Cancer, you create your avatar, you travel to ancient civilizations like ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, ancient China, ancient India, ancient Amazon, and you go and learn what their ideologies were for astrology, for alchemy, for meditation, for yoga practice, and we're integrating even movement. So you can do Chai Tea in there and kind of like Doctor Strange stuff so that you have to learn certain things and it can activate things in the game. Because everything is interactive now in virtual reality. So we're actually integrating modalities, and we're opening it. We can make an MMO style so that people can eventually add things. So if you want to add stuff, knowledge that you have, you can add things on there. And then you can also create connections towards your retreats or whatever you have through this space. Kind of like Minecraft, or like, remember World of Warcraft?
Yes.
It's like World of Warcraft, but astrology, related to astrology.
And how... where do people find this if you wanted to play?
It's available on Oculus Rift, and for right now, it's called Star Kingdom, but we're rebranding and renaming it because we want to prepare it for AR as well. So we're going to be utilizing it also in augmented reality, and I can't say too much about that because that's going to be that's going to change our whole game. it's one of those Facebook situations. Like, it's going to change how we interact with each other in the world. Like, we're going to start to hold each other more accountable. That's what we want to do. Like, we want, in a good way, like, we want to inspire people to become better people. I want to be able to see you on the street and be like, dang, he's an awesome Cancer. He's working on himself. I want to go meet him. You know? Not like, oh, like he showed me this stuff and he's good. No, actually, he's practiced and he's practicing Tai Chi and he's doing this stuff. And I can see what you're doing with your life. Wow. And I want to learn from you maybe, you know?
Wow.
Wow.
It's not very easy right now. You know, when you go to Tinder or Bumble or you go do any social media that it's what we put on there, but not really what we're doing and practicing and what we're showcasing, you know?
So it's holding each other accountable through gamification.
Yes.
That's a trip. Yeah. Wow.
But when I get into virtual reality last time, I felt like we can trick our mind into like living in this whatever we want to live in by game now, but how do we separate?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because, wow, okay, I'm going to go with two different directions on that. Virtual reality is simulated meditation. Right, you heard it here first, right? Cut and print that, okay? So really, ultimately, it's kind of cheating. So like a lot of people who can't meditate, virtual reality is a great way to see what it feels like to meditate. So if the right program, the right software, the right game, like people like me, create the right experience, it actually can be a very deep, important experience.
And beneficial.
Beneficial experience, right? Now, here's another thing. Because it's a simulated meditation, almost like a hypnosis, right? Because it's very visceral. You notice that you didn't feel your body, right?
Right.
Okay, so because you're in that state of kind of out of body, you now can you kind of guide people towards feeling certain emotions. I'll give you an example. One thing I really want to work on this year is creating some sort of empathy training to bring to prisons, to bring to different teen at-risk teens, to give them some sort of virtual reality experience that shows them that empathy feels good, and to reward them on empathy, not to punish them for being bad, but to reward them if they do empathetic activities in a game, in a simulation. Because a lot of people don't know what it feels like. It takes them a long time to go and do things for other people. We know people who are successful who go like, I can't go help people because I need to make money first, you know? Like, but the very act of helping others.
And that's majority of the people.
That's majority of people. But the very act of making people invigorates you in such a way that you have way more energy and power to do everything you want to do.
I could see that, like showing somebody a certain circumstance, like this person was spoken bad to or talked down to. How do you think this person feels? And then give them a B, C, D choice, and then you could choose. Felt like crap when they were spoke down to, and then that gets them to put themselves in the other shoe. Wow, that'd be a really powerful way.
So I'm a storyboarder. You know, I when I was in New York, I worked at a few companies. We had our own studio and collective. We used to do all kinds of projects with transmedia, and we worked with even big companies, and we did stuff with Coca-Cola, all kinds of stuff. And one of the things I learned a lot about is how important it is to create content and stories that are like both choice oriented, right? But at the same time, kind of guiding people towards a feeling, a sensation, like a feeling of completion, right? And I think that's where rewarding comes in. Like I want to stop making games that are about punishing. Like it needs to be about rewarding. Like let's show people that by rewarding you feel way better than by killing.
And I think that this bridge that you are becoming and you're talking about creating through games is, I mean, we had a couple teenagers staying with us here this weekend, right? This past weekend. And there was a lot of screens and there was a lot of, and these kids are much more conscious than most. Like the average teenager or the average 10-year-old is probably on a screen half to 2/3 of their day. So the modern mystic is going to utilize tools like this to make meditation accessible. You even see now the bridge for a lot of these Silicon Valley types is microdosing mushrooms or going to the woods and taking ayahuasca.
Yeah.
And that's inspiring them to like, whoa, let's make the change and let's dive into meditation. Yeah. But for the next generation that's so computer savvy and so technologically adept, that the bridge has to be through a technological form.
We need to, somebody needs to be in that space. And actually, it's funny, like the past year, I've actually been judged by some of my friends who are spiritual and in the spiritual community. Like, they're like, what are you doing? You're doing this virtual reality. You're like going to get, you know, like they're like actually judging me about doing that, right? But from where I'm coming, I'm like, no, somebody has to go there. Like somebody has to go and take the mindfulness practice and the meditation practice and bring it into the sphere. Otherwise, what will happen? It'll just become about killing and training for military and doing all this stuff. It'll become about that.
Yeah. Oh well, I was kind of skeptical at first too, because there were games like killing games and all of the unconscious games that I've seen. And I did not actually think that anyone would take it into a different route, like the meditation, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I think Deepak Chopra was working on a game a few years ago as well about expanding consciousness through virtual reality and through.
But they don't
video
got
games.
people like us working on it.
Yeah, absolutely. They're the last generation, exactly.
Yeah, they're like
totally
they don't have the microdosers on them.
They don't have the red pills.
They don't got them. Yeah, they're not.
or the macrodosers for that matter.
I think I'm taking the rainbow pill. That's what's happening. That's why everything is happening at once.
Do you have some right now?
You can't ask all of our guests that, Ronnie. No, I'm kidding.
Sorry.
Ronnie,
Are we still on the podcast?
Ronnie, I still do, but it's the anal one. It's
Ooh.
the suppository, you know.
All right.
So it's the enema version, dude.
Let's do our grand question.
What a note to end on.
Literally.
If anyone listen, we don't actually have any pills here.
That's not true.
At least they're in the other room.
All right. So the grand question is, what do you do to stay inspired to keep doing your work, to inspire others through tough times?
Enemas. Okay.
Rainbow pill.
Rainbow pill. And rainbow pill enemas, dude. Wow, that's such a deep question. It's so heavy. Okay, I feel vulnerable enough with you guys to admit that I definitely suffer from some sort of crazy mental condition, like I don't want to say illness, because I don't feel I'm ill. I feel pretty fucking awesome. I feel awesome, but at the same time, I'm like, damn, dude, like, am I crazy to care so much? Like, am I like, what the heck? Like, I don't like seeing any of the bullshit I see and the children suffering and the people wars, and it's crazy. Like, I want to punch somebody, like how much I want to go and get somebody and like I want to smack them up, for how silly people are suffering and they're not caring. Like, I want to slap them into caring, And at the same time, I'm like, no, compassion, love, need to be kind, need to do my thing, like, but no, like, fuck, like, this is not right. And so I feel crazy. I see now why Robin Williams and why such crazy people like Robin Williams, and like, they look all happy and they look great and whatever. And whoa, like, no, there's like something else way deeper down going on. That I know that my ability to do what I do, my interaction with people and sharing laughter and yoga and everything else I do, a part of it also makes me susceptible to all the opposites. Like, for me to experience it, I also need to experience the opposite extreme. Like, I need to be able to empathize. And being able to empathize means when I walk by a homeless person, a whole story is popping into my mind. Now, if I go and talk to the homeless person, I'm listening to the homeless person and living the experience they're telling me. And I do it. I keep doing it. Like, I keep exposing myself to that. I keep exposing myself to people who have come through crazy backgrounds, right? And I put myself in that fire. And it hurts. When I go home and sleep, it fucking hurts. It's like, why is this happening, right? So what your question you guys are asking is like, whoa, how do I deal with it? My life is a constant search to figure out how to deal with it. My life is it's like, how do I not lose my mind? And if I didn't have meditation, if I didn't have Ayurveda, if I didn't have mindfulness, if I didn't have my tribes and my communities, if I had volunteering, if I had creativity and creative expression, if I didn't have all those things, oh my God, guys, I would have been out of this world. I've tried before, I've actually tried to get out of this world, and so, I'm really blessed to be given these tools. And that's why I'm so fucking so passionate about sharing them. Like, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks. I want to share these tools. And maybe it works for me, maybe it doesn't. But it doesn't matter. Like, if it works for one person out of 100, I'll be happy. I will be more than happy. Because it's not going to hurt anybody to practice these things. It'll only help. It'll only improve conditions.
So all of your spiritual practices and community that helps hold you through those times.
And you know what I really heard? What was, you didn't say it, but you unsaid it as you were saying it, you know? But empathy. To really feel what the other person's feeling. Because as spiritual teachers, the people we're helping, if we can put ourselves in their shoes, then gosh, we do want to make that change. We do. That really inspires us. Like I hate seeing other people suffering. So when I can put myself in another person's shoes who's suffering, it motivates me to go and help, regardless of anything. And you're totally right. There's a lot of very funny people out there, like Chris Farley, a drug overdose, or Jim Carrey.
Oh my gosh, right. Look,
crazy depression stuff, but he got deep into Buddhist meditation, and now you see all these memes and stuff on him about doing quotes about how great meditation is. And without a doubt, meditation, I mean, it saved my life in a heartbeat. My own spiritual, it saved my life more times than one. But empathy, wow, I see it in you. I see like this fire of empathy, because it doesn't sit well with you that people are suffering. And I know the feeling. And when we really tune into that empathy, then wow, what can motivate you more than that? Thank you for that answer.
Yeah, it's very inspiring. Thank you so much for doing all the work that you do.
And with that being, thank you guys. Thank you for having me on. And with that being, with that said, can I drop a idea for a meditation?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I kind of would love for us to, you know, start to practice a meditation, all of us, to start to practice meditation, not just to quiet our mind, but actually to utilize our mind as a tool, as a resource, so that when we go into meditation, we start to become focused, really pinpoint focused on our intention and purpose in this life. So that when we meditate, when we focus, when we go into deep mindfulness, that we completely become connected to our purpose, like with laser-like point focus. And when we go into that, we actually, let's see if we can stay in that meditation when we get out in the world, when we go do things in the world, whatever we do in the world, when we interact with people, let's keep that meditation going. Let's keep that meditation for our purpose going as much as possible. And with that being done, I just wonder if we can all create a better world for ourselves and for our descendants and for our families just by doing that consistently.
Beautiful, yeah.
We have to stop thinking about the next 10 minutes or the weekend and start thinking about the next 7 generations and what kind of impact we individually choose to make on the world.
Yeah. Everything we do has a vibration. So we can literally stop anything that's not serving anymore, literally, and just keep the meditation on what our purpose is. And all of us want to do great purpose. Like there's nobody, even Donald Trump believes he's a hero. You know, so we just need to start to actually do the actions that match up with our purpose. So.
Yeah, so just be happy to what is, and really watch what your intentions is, because that's where the energy flow, right? So thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to listen to this one a couple times over. But thank you for being with us. We really
thank you guys. I'm excited to hear people laugh through the ether.
If anyone wants to get a hold of you or contact you, where can they find you?
So I have an awesome website, totally worth checking out. It's super fun. It's iLiving, like iPhone, iliving.guru. The ending is guru. Or you can find me on social media, indy.rishi.singh on Instagram, Indy Rishi Singh on Facebook, or come to one of my workshops. The virtual reality thing is kicking off. So we're doing so many fun events. I'm doing stuff in Encinitas coming up soon, doing a thing in Ocean Beach, doing another couple of things in LA. Tons of fun things. So
we'll have all the links on the podcast too, so you'll be able to find Indy. And thank you so much. We're going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
All right. We'll see you all soon.
All right.
If you like the podcast, please comment in the box below and subscribe to our channel, whether it's Podbean or iTunes or Facebook. And also we have a YouTube channel that you can subscribe to. I want to say a big thank you to our sponsor, 5D Minerals. Every single product they sell directly goes to helping us support our work doing this podcast. So please check them out at 5dminerals.com.
Thank you everyone for tuning in, and let's stay inspired together.